Oh, frig. Denver, we have a problem. We have a problem. We have got a major problem. You know when you see that and that in combination, there's something wrong. You also know when you see, if you look right there at the headlight and the bumper, do you see that gap? Look on this side. Do you see that gap? Looks like the bumper's crooked, don't it? Bumper's not crooked. We've got a problem with the radiator support. I decided to tug on something I shouldn't have, and I broke the darn bottom of the radiator support off. Hip, it was rusted. It had been patched, and well, it's gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to blow this bolt off, because there is no way in the world we'll ever get that bolt out. That mounting flange is still good. I bought some shock absorber bushings I'm going to use for the biscuits to put back in. And what we're going to do is take a piece of flat steel, and we're going to come up here and we're going to bore some holes in it. Probably blow them out with the torch, you don't have to be exact, where these bolts go in. This is all still solid. And we're going to bolt it there and bring it down, and we're going to pull this back into place. Well, that's the plan, because I don't particularly want to replace the core support, and I think this should work. So let's get the torch and get this bolt out of there, and we'll see what happens. See if I can get the camera to where you can see anything, and me be able to see something too. That might not be so easy, but we'll find out. Stay tuned. Alright, let's see if we can get this off without tearing up anything. Well, it's a good question exactly what we got cut off, or whether we got it cut clear off or not. It's hard to tell with all this fire going on, but we'll know here in a few minutes. Boys and girls, remember, this is function, not pretty school here. This is underneath, and I get done, I'll squirt it down undercoat anyway. The original, the whole original section there, I just kind of lopped it out of there. I had to. It's rotten. As you can see, there's the pile of crap. There's the original mount washers, and it's all laying there. But anyway, I'm going to re-engineer this mess because it's just the way it is. Without disassembling the whole truck, there's no true way of fixing it per se right. But you know, if it's doing what it's supposed to, what fits the definition of right? So stay tuned. Okay, here's how we're going to fix this. Piece of flat stock. I don't know, what is that, 1/4 inch thick? Something like that. Anyway, we're going to bend it right here. Well, I don't have all these fancy metal bending tools, but what I do have here is a piece of cinder block just to give it something to hold it on. I've got a big number 12 foot here and a pair of vice grips. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grip this. A pair of vice grips. Grip it pretty good. Like I said, we're not in fabrication school here. We're in just, you know, we're going to fix it school. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire this torch up. We're going to turn some oxygen on so we don't get all that soot. Get us a good flame going. And we're going to apply some heat. We're going to apply it preferably not like that, because concrete will snap back in your face. I'm going to get it kind of up here like this. If you can see anything I'm doing, I hope you can. And I'm just going to heat across my mark here. I'm not cutting, I'm just heating. I'm going to heat it, and we're going to hope it bends right there. It should. As it gets hot, it should bend real easy. May not have my flame hot enough. There we go. It is now. Get the metal glowing real well and it should just bend right over. Exactly how far to bend this. So this may be a 2 or 3 bend process here. Not real sure. I'm gonna go test fit it to the truck. If we have to bend it some more, I'll show you that. Well, looks like my bend was pretty good. We're going to attempt to pull this thing back down where it goes. The way we're going to do it is not necessarily the, I don't know if it's really, you can call it the correct way or the wrong way. There's probably not really a wrong way to do this. It's just a matter of getting her done, if you know what I'm saying. We're going to use a large ratchet strap. That's what we're going to use. We're going to use one of these. The reason being is this truck has been years ago wrecked on this side and the front, and this frame horn is kind of tweaked up on the front. The frame of the straight's truck, but yeah, the frame of the truck is straight, but the rest of it's not. It's all kind of twisted. So what we're going to do is there's a support right here, which I hope is strong. Don't really rightfully know if it is or not, to be honest with you. And we're going to come back to this bumper, and for lack of a better way of going about this, we're going to just kind of hook this under the bumper and just kind of pull. It's not going to have to be pulled on an extreme amount. This is going to be lightly done, and I really need to twist that around. Actually, I probably just need to twist the strap. We're not putting a load on this. I need to hook this back around the bumper and just kind of play with this mess a minute. But I'll show you whenever I get it actually rigged up here, because this is going to be aggravating. Okay, change of plans. Strap's hooked into that brace, and it's run down. And well, no point in crawling under. You can see where it's at. It's hooked to the lower control arm. But we've got the alignment issue of the whole front end fixed. Everything measures out now. So what we're going to do is we're going to double check our piece of metal, and we're going to see if it's bent right, which I think it is. If it ain't, it's pretty darn close, you know, and it's stiff enough metal to you know, to withstand this pressure. You know, this was sheet metal, so you know, 1/4 inch bar stock's going to work. So we're going to test fit it and see what happens. I'll show you once to get it up in there, because there is no camera angle that can be done with a tripod on this. So stay tuned. Okay, we're still at this project. Here's what we got. We've got some good old, yeah, shock absorber bushings. We just needed some rubber bushings, so that's what I got. I just want these 2 little ones here. It should be plenty sufficient. I done a little more crappy torch work, just quick chopping just to make this fit. I did that. I took a little bit out of the bend. We've got it fitting right. So my plan is throw stuff at the camera, and I've got these 2 choices. I've got this big boot and I've got these 2 little ones, and the more I look at this, I think we're going to whittle this big one in half and use half of it on each side. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let me do some tinkering. I'm going to cut this big one in half and see if that don't look a little better for my liking. Be back with you in a minute. Okay, here's what we did. Took a Sawzall and where are we at? Sawed rubber. Made me 2 donuts, 2 biscuits here. This are right. These look a whole lot better. That was the big one. I cut the ends off of it. Got about the right thickness. I've got 2 here, so we're going to get this mocked up in here, and then I'll show you how I'm planning on attaching it to everything. Okay, can you see anything? Can you see my plan coming together here? This is my plan coming together. So this is going to be a little trial and error. Only thing it needs to do is it needs to stay where it's at when I let the tension off of it. I've still got to get my holes put in it, my bolts in up here and everything, but you can see I just kind of biscuited it together down there. We're gonna hope this all works. Yeah, before somebody says it, I know I've got my biscuit on the wrong side of the metal bar down at the bottom. I realize that, but I couldn't get it up to where I needed to try to mark anything to get my distance right, so we're gonna put it back together the other way. But for this purpose here, this is where it needed to be, because that's kind of close to where it's hanging down, where it's away from everything, is where I want this bar to set. So its installed height and the height it's setting at now should be pretty darn near equal. So we're going to hope for luck and see how close we get. Show you more. Okay, this last part of this video, you ain't gonna get to see it. I cussed and cussed and cussed, so y'all don't get to see it. It's too bad. Too bad for YouTube. I was kind of embarrassed of it, I guess, in a way. This was a pain. But anyway, she's in there. She's bolted up. And then you see those nice new shiny bolts. Well, if you've ever had one of these trucks, you know these bolts right here. Yeah, those. Did you know those blasted things are metric? Bet you didn't know that, did you? They're not exactly metric, but they're like a compression fit. They're a friction fit bolt. And a metric thread fits exactly the same in them. It'll come in and out over and over. Doesn't damage anything. You can actually take those metric bolts right there out, and you can put those back in without a problem. But those, I was going to use those, and I started looking at them. I was like, them blasted things are too short. I'm not even going through. I can't add a 1/4 inch to them. Well, one of them ain't even what that was. Right there is what I'm talking about. That bolt there, those pointed tip with the collar heads on them. Anyway, I don't know where the other bolt was. It must have been up in there and fell out. But anyway, there she is together. Old toe made her strong as an ox now. Shake it there. There's no movement, so that's what we need. The only thing it needs now is a little bit of black spray bomb to just cover up the parts that can rust, and we're ready to ride. So, see y'all. And there you go. I'll spray bomb down. Shouldn't rust now. Looks to me like that's probably better than new. And if you look at the front of the truck, you know, you could hear this popping. You could hear it cracking. And it took me a good while to figure out what the heck it was. I couldn't figure out what in the world that noise was. It wasn't completely broken too. It was just close, and it's popping on itself. The metal was popping backwards and forwards. It made the craziest noise. And, oh, throw another little tidbit. It's actually a YouTube user's fault. I won't mention his name. That's broken. He's like, let's do a burnout. And well, it will do one. I tried to do a burnout, and needless to say, well, I did one, but it jerked the truck real hard. Wasn't the smartest thing to do. We drank a few beers. We was having a good time. So, but anyway, there's if you notice the bottom of the headlight bezels. I guess I told you that in the beginning. I don't know. Just kind of one of those things I assume you should know, I guess. Right there, it looks to me like it's even. If it ain't, by crackies, it's close enough. It's close enough. I was guessing when I did this, not once did I use a tape measure. Do you see a tape measure? I see a cutting torch. I see a cinder block. I see some pliers, a striker, a big old crescent wrench, a bunch of rusty metal, some tools, a ratchet strap. But anywhere do you see a tape measure? Who needs a tape measure in the Rat Rod Wrecker garage? Who needs one? See y'all.